Well, I reckon it's been a fair while actually since I've done a product review on a goggle, for the reason that there hasn't been, I would say since, the Oakley air brake with a pre-curved lens and a way to remove that lens, there hasn't been huge advances in goggles. But I want to speak about one today because I think this goggle from Blur really hasn't had a big presence in Australia, really just with price point and sort of kids goggles. But they brought out a goggle called the Blur B60, Blur Optics B60 goggle, which has a unique magnetic or a lens that's secured by magnets, and I think they're standout for a couple of reasons. It's the best lens changing system on the market, bar none, and secondly, the price. Normally I'm not really thinking about price. I'm in the luxurious position of getting most of my products free from Moto, and I'll admit that. But when you look at the price of this thing, this Blur B60 goggle, $99 US. Now, if you translate that directly into Aussie dollars, you got 150 bucks straight away. But here it sells for $99 as well. So that caught my attention. Then when I wore the things the first time, I thought, actually these things are something pretty bloody good. I've been now wearing them for 6 months. So look, we've run a pretty detailed review on the website with what I'm talking about today in a lot more detail, but I thought I'd just sort of go through some of the sort of key top line stuff. Comfort, always a big one, like triple layer face foam, good face foam, fantastic. When you twist the goggles, you'd probably say they're probably a little bit stiffer than average, but the fact that the frame is designed in such a way that it sits nice and evenly against your face creates a lot of comfort. I've got a pretty big honker too, and when you're wearing goggles for a long time, and that if you haven't got good face foam, you kind of get those little indents on your nose. Haven't had these wearing the things all day. But coming back to, I think, what is probably the standout feature, let me give you a demo. It's that easy. You lift up a couple of outrigger arms that they're calling them, even though they're not kind of genuine outrigger arms. You literally push the lens out like that. You count them, the 6 little magnets there, and putting it back in is, let's hope I can demonstrate, is literally just as easy. If I get the outrigger arm out of the way, I can actually put them back in properly too. It snaps in place. So, a couple of things about that. Obviously easy to change, right? But I think the knock-on benefits of that is when you've got those 6 magnets, it allows you to make a really minimalist frame. So that gives you more peripheral vision. Cool thing, okay? The other thing is, you can change lenses in a matter of 10 seconds, piece of piss. But the other thing is how many times when you're getting with a rag and in here and you're sort of trying to clean it, if you want to clean the things, just take the lens out, clean it properly on both sides, whack it back in. It's literally that easy. So, like I say, I think that Oakley air brake back in the day sort of set the standard for removable lenses and being able to change your lenses. They had a different little system, but this magnetic system is bloody good. Look, they do refer to them as outriggers, and I think that's kind of loosely framed as outriggers because outriggers typically, so they sit out from your helmet, So these things are effectively fastening lugs in a lot of ways. Its predecessor had the same magnetic lens and didn't have those, but I think now the guys from Castons who bring in these goggles in Australia, that fastening lug was a pretty important thing for them. Quality of finish too. It's going to come back for, value. The strap is great. This thing is 6-8 months old. I've worn it a shed load. It doesn't look like that, All the face foam, as I said before, the quality, all the componentry you see on it. One thing in particular that I like is when you have this perimeter face foam around here, the stuff that you might put baby oil on if you're riding Fink on a super dusty day, that stuff can quite often perish, and that's the first thing that goes on goggles a lot of the time, right? Well, I don't know if you call it face foam, perimeter frame foam, I suppose, but this has got a really ingenious sort of it's a protective layer of a sort of nylon weave on there, which actually just makes it, it makes pierce, not proof, but pierce resistant. The other thing, and if anyone from a snowboarding or skiing background, you don't even think twice, you have a dual layer lens. So the standard Blur 60 comes with a dual layer lens. No fogging, you can feel it by pressing together there. I reckon that's a really good thing and really underrated with a lot of moto guys that just don't, moto guys and girls that actually just don't get the benefit of a dual lens. Some of them distort your vision a little bit, this one absolutely doesn't. The other thing, obviously, with Australia, with Teros being banned with off-road racing, the fact that you can now get, I think it is for $69. So $70, you get a pre-fitted roll-off kit. The one thing, actually, what came off today, my little string puller here came off today, so I'm not sure whether I got a rock in it or whether that's a fault. So that's something I'm going to keep a bit of an eye on. But the thing works a treat. Comes with a little mud flap across the top, really nice wide strip roll-off, and what that looks like. So you can buy that for $69 straight up and fit that in. That, unfortunately, coming back to the dual layer, is only a single layer. So I'm guessing that the fact that they get a couple of screws through here, they don't want to compromise the dual layer. So that's why it's gone back to a single layer. So that's on my wish list. So if you want to buy the full pre-kitted goggle, which comes on the Rolloff kit fitted, so instead of it being 100 plus 70, basically it's 149, so $150, and there you've got it. And works an absolute treat. I guess the only sort of word of warning in a way, because the goggle is probably a little taller that way than average, you just want to make triply sure that when you fit it in the eye port of your your helmet, that it fits in there. I actually had to remove both the nose guard, on the goggle itself, and also the breath guard on the helmet. So look, it entirely depends on what helmet you're running, but just be mindful of that. If you've got a helmet with a really small eye port, these things may struggle to fit. Other little things too, I really like the fact that, the standard goggle, it comes with a hard case. Cool little touch. And again, referring back to $100, like you get that as well. You also get a cool drawstring bag, and you also get, for the full pre-kitted one with the roller system, you also get a drawstring bag where the thing actually fits in. How many times you've got a goggle bag and the bloody thing doesn't fit in? Annoying as hell. So look, that's just really sort of top line insight into, why I think these, Blur B60 goggles are something pretty special. I'm really impressed by the things, quality, the quality of finish, the comfort, the feel, the vision that they give you, some of the accessories. So essentially in my mind, you're getting, for $100, you're getting the features on a goggle almost twice that amount, or perhaps even twice that amount. Get the feeling maybe that given that they're already $99 US, and that equates to 150 here, that might not be at that introductory price forever. But look, these things are definitely worth giving them a whirl.